Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Yeah, I'm having some studio issues here. Hold on, I got to get this the right height and all that good stuff. So my chair evidently sunk when I was gone for a day. Hey, welcome back to the Rundown. My name is Mike Peworski, your co-host from the East Coast. That's coast with the most from the co-host with the most. Here on the Rundown, 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. It is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But hey, the fun is all in the trying. And you know, Mike, I have to admit, it's a lot easier to start the weekend on Wednesday when the wife is out of town.
Hell yeah. When did my wife go out of town?
I don't know when your wife went out of town, but mine did.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, man, I should talk to her more. Yeah. My wife, not yours. I talk to your wife enough, please.
Good times. How was the beginning of your weekend going thus far?
Busy. A lot of work going on. A lot of stuff. Got the holiday coming up this weekend, and trying to get ready for that. Doing an event over at the VFW as well, and just trying to get things organized.
Excellent. Well, we're here. Like I said, the wife is out of town. So what's funny is that for some reason, it's almost like the people I work with, my clients, know my wife is out of town. So they all of a sudden have all these new deadlines, new things that they want me to get done, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to relax here. I'm trying to drink bourbon in the middle of the week.
Yeah. See, if my coworkers know my wife's out of town, it's like, bro, come on, we're going shooting, we're going to play golf. It's party time. Let's go. That's their version of it. So
there you go. Can't complain about that.
Nope.
But hey, before we get started, two things I want to do. Number one, I definitely, before we get into the news stories, I want to get your take on the whole Trump indictment thing. But before that, I want to make sure we give a shout out to our sponsors.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Hitman Industries, that's hitmanindustries.net. Actually visited them earlier today. You can now get yourself a barrel for your rifle. Formerly, they did not sell to the public. Now they sell to the public. You can buy direct from them for your next AR build or rebarrel your current rifle. That's hitmanindustries.net. And don't forget, first responders get a discount there. The California Republican Assembly fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. Hog holsters for the best in concealment holsters out there. Go to HAWGholsters.com. That's hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all caps, no spaces, one word. Get yourself a nice little discount there. And of course, if you want some awesome field gear, some go to the woods kind of gear, hit up our buddies over at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These folks bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourself a favor. Take a second, follow the links to their websites in the description of this program, and check them out. If you like what you see, spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. Also want to remind you, please share this program with your friends. I see right now folks are watching. Some folks are watching on my Facebook page. Some are watching on the Arms Room Radio Facebook page. Some are watching via YouTube, watching Arms Room over there at YouTube. 2A News. I mean, you folks, look, we're on a lot of different channels, so wherever you watch videos, you will be able to find the Rundown. Wherever you listen to your podcasts, you will be able to find the Rundown. So however you listen, however you partake, tell your friends about it, but also tell them if they don't want to partake that way, that's okay. We don't care how you partake. We just care that you partake. Now, Mike, I wanted to before we get into the stories today, I didn't have it listed as a story, but I wanted to get your take on the arraignment of Donald Trump and the press conference of Alvin Bragg basically outlining the charges. I'm going to play a brief clip of Alvin Bragg talking about the charges, and then once again I want to hear what you got to say because we didn't have a chance to talk about it yesterday. So here you guys go.
Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime. That is exactly what this case is about. 34 false statements made to cover up other crimes. These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct. Donald Trump, executives at the publishing company American Media Incorporated, Mr. Cohen, and others agreed in 2015 to a catch and kill scheme. That is a scheme to buy and suppress negative information to help Mr. Trump's chance of winning the election. As part of this scheme, Donald Trump and others made 3 payments to people who claimed to have negative information about Mr. Trump, because it's not just about one payment. It is 34 business records, 34 false statements in business records that were concealing criminal conduct.
All right, Mike, I'm not even going to chime in. Just what are your thoughts?
Well, the actual crime here, Craig, is the purchasing of a district attorney and making the deal on who he prosecutes. And that's what Mr. Bragg will end up being relieved of office for and going to jail for as well. That's the actual crime here. Even if this was a misdemeanor, Craig, the Federal Election Commission already looked at this and said, nope, sorry, not a crime. And furthermore, you can't take a misdemeanor and then say, when you attempt to conceal a misdemeanor, we're going to make that a felony. That's not how that works. Mr. Bragg evidently must be a lawyer to hold this position, and he's not a very good one at that. Unless, of course, someone puts $1 million in your pocket, which is what happened with George Soros and Mr. Bragg, and instructed him who to file charges against. I don't know. I think George Soros may end up being the Republican, hero of the year, because what they've done in one fell swoop is to unite the Republican Party behind one person, and that's what you're going to see occur for the next couple of years.
You know, Mike, I will agree with you. You know, I will put it to you this way: when you tune in to Morning Joe, right, on MSNBC, and their response is that they're like, that's it. That's all they've got. I mean, he's accused, Mike, of committing these misdemeanors. By the way, the misdemeanors are basically telling the same lie 34 times. Or this, yeah. Well, they're saying he lied on paperwork, and he lied 34 times. So he did the same thing 34 times. So there's that. Then, though, they're saying it's a felony because it was in furtherance of a more serious crime, without naming what the crime is. You know why they didn't name what the crime is? Because even the feds, the FEC, didn't charge him with it, and neither did the FPPC. Nobody, the Elections Commission, nobody has charged him with anything because he didn't commit a crime. Now, I will say this: people out there keep saying, "Well, what about what John Edwards did?" And well, John Edwards actually did get cried. He did get charged. He did get indicted. And the jury basically just said that made absolutely no sense because he was hiding it from his wife. You have to prove, Mike, that the sole reason he would have done that, he would have paid the hush money, is to basically to keep it from coming out during the campaign. Well, guess what? By the time they eventually charged it, everyone already knew it had happened. So you're telling me he paid hush money to keep it out of the campaign after the campaign was already over? That's pretty. I mean, oh, by the way, after it's already come out. That maybe it's just me, Mike, but that's a pretty poor use of hush money.
It is, it absolutely is. And again, going back to my statement, not a bright man, not a smart attorney. What he is on the take. And it's the reason he's going to end up being indicted himself and going to jail.
Well, it's going to take a U.S. attorney to do something to do that, because the fact is nobody's going to do it. You have to figure they're in New York. Nobody in New York is going to call for his job. If we had gotten a Republican governor elected there, they probably could have called for his job, but that didn't happen. They've now got a governor who's just going to sit down and do whatever it is that he wants. So I don't know. I think it is a dereliction of duty, but I will also say this. They have opened the door for a whole bunch of prosecutions, a whole bunch. Because as soon as Mr. Biden is out of office, you can bet the big guy is going to be held to account.
Yeah, and listen, the big guy, of course, they'll find is not mentally stable enough to stand trial. So he'll end up doing nothing against him.
He's going to be like those, like the, you know, you see all the time in the mob movies, like the mob bosses, when they go in to sit in there, they put them in wheelchairs and they put the oxygen masks on them.
Yep.
That's what they're going to do with Joe Biden.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yep.
Oh.
But you might as well start getting the train cars lined up, because once the presidency changes parties during the next administration, they're going to be loading up cattle cars full of these Democrats. They're gonna. It's time to go to indictment, baby. Let's go. Get on the train. We're going to indictment.
Bob. Time. Yes, sir, Bob. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into today's stories. Actually, before we do, just want to say hello to Mr. Collins out there in GA in Georgia. Say thank you for tuning in. So if you got any comments, please feel free to give us a holler. All right, now we'll go ahead and get into this first story here. There we go. Bam. Sorry, I'm trying to get the whole thing set up here. Okay, so our first story here has to do with Twitter, and I don't know that it's worthy of a story, only because it's truth. Okay. It's surprising to me, but it's not surprising to me that Twitter is actually telling the truth. But this has to do with NPR. And NPR has finally done, or NPR has finally been labeled exactly what they are. And that is that they are state media, right? That is that they have been now listed on Twitter as state-affiliated media. Right? Now, that's the same as Russia's RT and China's Xinhua, which basically means they tell you whatever the government tells them to tell you. Now, in this case, though, they're funded by the government in part, but they don't necessarily tell you what the government wants you to tell them, because let's be honest, when a Republican is running the government, they're not telling you what the government wants you to hear.
Yeah, exactly right. When a Republican is running the government, NPR goes back to what it always has been, background noise that really nobody listens to. So I don't think that the Republicans, besides perhaps enjoying seeing Elon Musk's organization label them as state-run media, have any care at all. I mean, what does NPR go after? 1%, 2% of those people voting that don't have any means besides an AM radio to get their information.
You'd be surprised the number of Republicans I know that listen to NPR because they like some of the human interest stories. I can't bring myself to waste my time listening to NPR. I just can't. It is. Even when they report on stuff that is not partisan, it all has a partisan tinge to it.
And the delivery is as if someone is reading stereo instructions to you. There's no emotion, no change in dialect, no nothing. It's just, if it wasn't government funded, Greg, it would have been off the air years ago.
Well, one could argue the same could be said for now that the Twitter files are out there. The same could be said of CNN and MSNBC.
Yeah,
and Twitter.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, moving right along. Things are about to get worse in Chicago, folks. If y'all thought that what's her face was bad, if y'all thought that Mayor Lightfoot was bad, oh, you've got a new one. So this new guy, Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones is the new mayor there. He won by 3 percentage points. The new mayor there in Chi-Town. This guy is a defund the police, give all the money to the social welfare programs a Democrat. He will guarantee that gun sales will go through the roof there in Chicago, both legal and illegal. This guy was supported 100% by the teachers unions. Now, the one good thing that you could say about Lori Lightfoot was she at least put up a fight against the teachers unions when it came to closing the schools. She lost, but she at least tried to put up a fight to open the schools during COVID. But Mike, I'm telling you, things are about, I mean, they went, if you can believe this or not, they actually went to the left of Lori Lightfoot, not to the right.
Yeah, it's going to be fun times in Chicago. Well, I mean, if you're into like, lawlessness, that's what it's going to be. Fun times. It's going to be great for the criminals, great for the felons. They're going to be able to do whatever they want without repercussion there from the police department, as well as we know that the prosecutor's office lets them go. But now that the police department is going to not have the ability to enforce the law, is what's going to happen there. They're going to basically handcuff the police department. Craig, bring that last one up there with the old Lori Lightfoot there and the Brian Johnson story. I want to point something out to the folks looking there. If you look down on the right, you see the debate. It's not the role of the government to protect us from apps. And then don't put TikTok out of business based on hypotheticals. Kind of sounds like some conservative viewpoints there slipping into Newsweek, like perhaps they're making the turn.
Oh, no, I will tell you, I have noticed there have been significant numbers of times where stories are actually reported either non-biased or actually from a right slant. Newsweek has made a conscious effort. They're realizing that they've lost a lot of readership, and they better start tacking at least back to the center. So yeah, I've found it to be quite refreshing with Newsweek.
Very nice, very nice. We'll have to keep our eye on them. Perhaps maybe even make them a source one day again.
One day they may actually be added to the list of things that need to be read. For example, I don't read the New York Times because, number one, I refuse to give them money. Right. I refuse to pay money for someone that is literally nothing more than a shill for the Marxist left. And that's all they really care about. I don't give money to the Washington Post for the same exact reason. I read articles when people send them to me. If I can do the link through and you actually don't have to pay for anything, I'll read it because I need the reference. I want to know what the other side is saying. But having said that, I'm not paying for it.
Nope. Same here. Don't pay for the news. I'll get an article and somebody will look at this. I'll take a click on it and it goes right to paywall. I'm like, nope, done. I don't even bother searching for it after that. Just done.
Done. Well, anyway, Chi-Town or Chirac is about. I'm willing to bet you the body count is about to go up significantly.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure. You know what? Let's
check.
take a look at.
Let's check the body count year to date.
Let's see what we got going on in the big town of Chicago. Let's see. So far, year to date, shot and killed 123, shot and wounded 455, total shot 578, total homicides 131 as of April 5th.
Wow. Now, is that up or down from last year? Does it say?
That's about par for last year so far.
Interesting. Tell the folks, what website is that you're looking at again?
Can I say it? We're not going to get banned if I say it. If I say it,
can you share your screen and put it up?
I mean, I guess so.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't worry about it. Y'all are just going to have to tune into us. We'll put the link in the description of the video. How about that? On our Facebook page. So if you're not on Facebook, I don't know what to tell you, but that's where we'll put the link.
There you go. Take a look at that.
All right. Did you... Where? Network.
Is that shared with you? Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Can you guys see it?
I'm pulling it up. There it is. Bam. There it is. Hey, jackass.
Just like
Oh,
that.
yeah, you could say, hey, jackass.
Oh, I didn't know if I could. All right. I didn't know if I could. All right.
Yeah, no, you just can't say, hey, that disease that we used to talk about is, kind of not real. Yeah, that you can't say.
Cove Apocalypse.
Yeah, no, we don't go there. We don't do that anymore. We don't talk about that stuff. That that is no longer a valid conversation anymore. I don't want to lose any more channels. We've lost
Seems
too
legit.
many already.
We've lost those loving channels.
Yes,
Sorry.
we have. Yes, we have. Moment of silence. Okay.
Oh, those loving
Moving on to our next story. You guys might know California has this list, and everyone brags about it. It's called the Armed Prohibited Persons List, meaning these are people who are who have had their rights taken away, their rights to own a firearm because they've either been convicted of a felony, they've been gone in for a 5150, or they've been held in a mental institution involuntarily for 72-hour period. In California, that costs you your gun rights for 10 years. Domestic violence, you've been charged with domestic violence, or you've got a restraining order. All these various different. You've lost your rights either permanently or temporarily to possess a firearm in the state of California, and they have a record of you having purchased a firearm, but don't have a record of you having gotten rid of that firearm. Right? So that's the Armed Prohibited Persons List. They take those two lists and they put them together. Well, in the state of California, we have a list of about 24,000 people who are on that particular list. And the interesting thing about that list is well, by the way, what they're supposed to be doing, the California Department of Justice, they're supposed to be going and getting guns from those people. Or at the very least, finding out, hey, did you get rid of the gun? Right? Or, checking to see if it was a temporary situation, is the restraining order still in place? Has the 10 years passed since you were held in a mental institution? And any of those things. Well, what they're finding now is in California, there are still 23,000 individuals who are not supposed to be in possession of firearms that are. This is a article from a group of folks called Cal Matters. Now, the interesting thing about Cal Matters is they try to be nonpartisan, but they really suck at being nonpartisan. But what they noticed here was, and I'll give you some of the statistics. They just did a big release, the California Department of Justice and the Attorney General, about this is how good we're doing with our program. They said as of on January 1st, there were 2,869 people who are registered gun owners in California that are prohibited from owning or possessing firearms. That's down, mind you, from 2,459 the year before. Now, what you want to know from that is that, 9,277 people were added to that list. Which basically tells you that a little under 9,000 were removed from the list. So basically it worked out to a net gain of 640 people. Now, here's some of the things they're bragging over. Number one, they're bragging that 54 ghost guns were confiscated, a 575% increase from 2018. That basically means there were 8 ghost guns in all of California that were confiscated. 8. And now they've got 54. Now, Mike, I'm just going to throw this out there to you. You want to guess how many guns are in the state of California?
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. And listen, if they only found 8, Craig, it's because they fell on their hands and their feet. Same with the 54. Let's see. How many guns in California? I'm going to go with 1 million.
About 20 million, actually. There are 4.5 million gun owners in California that own about 20 million guns. And they are bragging about confiscating 54.
Yeah.
All right. In fact,
Craig,
that's only about 20 more than they confiscated. Well, not even 20, 15 more than they confiscated a year ago. Now, here's the other thing. They're bragging about confiscating about 1,000 guns. Now, let me ask you a question. All right. If they removed 9,000 people from the list, right? They removed 9,000 from the list, but they only confiscated about 1,000 guns. About how many people were on the list that probably shouldn't have been on the list?
Actually, Craig, I was told there wouldn't be any math today. So
I don't know who told you that. I think you made an assumption. You know what happens when you make an assumption.
That's right. You look like an ass, and the ump will shun you.
I like they look. You make an ass out of you and umption.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, listen, I'm in Florida, Craig. You got 20 million guns there. That sounds like a decent number, but in Florida, babe, those are rookie numbers. You got to bump them numbers up. Come on.
Well, those are the legally owned firearms.
Oh, gotcha.
But Mike, what gets me is that means that there's about 8,000 people who shouldn't have been on the list or had to have their names removed from the list. So they're not going around just like because trust me, I promise you, if they went and they confiscated a firearm, chances are whoever they confiscated firearms from is probably multiple people. They probably have multiple firearms, which means that the overwhelming majority of people on the list shouldn't have been on the list.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
That's a good assumption.
There you go. And then, by the way, if they've reduced, just so you know, they've reduced the number of things that they call felonies, right? So if they reduce the things that they call felonies, that means fewer people are being charged and convicted with felonious crimes, right? That's the only reason why the list has not gotten larger. Because they're just not locking people up.
They ought to take this list to New York, Craig, where they can turn 3 misdemeanors into 34 felonies.
There you go. See? There you go. Bam. That's what I look. That's what I call multiplication right there.
That's it.
Anyway, the fact is that this is a list that most people will tell you who've dealt with the California Department of Justice. They are, whenever you start talking about computer-related stuff, they suck at it. They're bad at lists. They're bad at computer-related stuff. They're bad at databases. They're failing. And their only answer is, give us more money. And they keep getting more money. They keep getting more money, in particular, from gun owners. They keep upping our fees. They keep upping what we have to pay. And yet they still, for some reason, cannot seem to do their jobs.
There we go.
Yeah, that's how the liberals do it.
Looking at the clock, Craig, because I don't want to make people annoyed. Are we hitting the last story, or do we got to get out?
Oh, yeah. We are now on the last story. Another racist moment for Jill Biden. Now, I'm going to throw this out there as a couple of different things. I'm just going to say that I don't want to call it racist. I don't think that Jill Biden is racist. Yes, she is. But I don't want to use this as proof, right? So Jill Biden decided that she was going to, after the women's NCAA championship game, which, by the way, was the most watched NCAA championship ever. Jill Biden decided that she said, well, I just think both teams did so well that we should invite both of them. Now, mind you, Louisiana whooped. And when I say whooped, I mean whooped Iowa. Now, Iowa has a star player. The star player's name is Caitlin Clark. If you've ever watched her, she is bad. And when I say bad, I mean good. I mean, old girl has game, right? But what happened during the game was there was this, basically the one of the players from LSU, apparently they're upset because people are like, well, she was taunting the other player, even though Caitlin has done the exact same thing in other games. And I'll show you what the thing is. And this is the John Cena, you can't see me, little thingy bob. Now, Mike, first of all, talking trash in sports is not a new thing, especially in basketball. And both sides do it. All sides do it. It's kind of part of the game. But I find it interesting that, Jill Biden, because she feels like that the LSU players were we're so mean to the Iowa State players that we need to invite the Iowa State players, the predominantly white team. We need to invite them to the White House as well. And now you've got folks like this, Darvio Moro, accusing the First Lady of racism.
Yeah, Craig, I want to start off by saying I know none of these people, right? These are the, when you sent the stories to me earlier today and we were looking at stories, first time I'd heard these names. Didn't know that the NCAA women's did a tournament. I just, I've gotten so far removed from the politics of basketball, and now it's even gone down into the college ranks, evidently, that you've got racist, non-racist Jill Biden here, sticking her nose where it shouldn't belong and wanting to bring the losers. Craig, this sounds almost a little bit less racism, but a little bit more like everybody gets a trophy. Either way, it's more of the woke nonsense coming out of the Brandon White House.
Well, exactly. It is an epic fail, is what it is. It is a straight up epic fail. I'm not one to say that it is racism. I am just one to say it, like you said, this is a everybody gets a trophy type of a deal. And no, if you want to go to the White House, you got to win a national championship, or you got to go on a tour like everybody else.
That's right. Or you can go on the tour of the Capitol on January 6th.
There you go. That's in the everybody else, but that comes with an arraignment date.
That's right. Tourism's not a crime. Yeah.
Tourism is not a crime unless you are a Republican, unless you are a Trump supporter. Right. If you are a Trump supporter, then yes, correct. It is. Just saying. Correct. All right. Well, hey, folks, it's about that time. It's time for our parting shots, brought to you by Hog Holsters. That's hogholsters.com. You can get yours by using the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. This first one, Mike, is in honor of, this is what's going to happen to Alvin Bragg once this whole thing is done. You want to describe this one to the folks?
Yes, this is if you'll recall the smackdown of Will Smith versus Chris Rock. Well, this is President Trump delivering the same blow to Alvin Bragg. Although he looks pretty good in that jacket. I like that jacket.
Alvin Bragg has slimmed up a little bit.
He has. Yeah, he has.
By the way, I have the official mugshot for Donald Trump. But I know there are rumors that there was no mugshot, but we have the official mugshot for Donald Trump when he got arraigned yesterday. This one, well, it's a cartoon, but it's got it's the front shot says first former president in history to be indicted, and then you've got the side shot or the profile shot. It says, but still the 2024 GOP frontrunner. Send cash now, and that's exactly what Donald Trump did. That was as of yesterday, he had raised $8 million since the indictment.
Yeah. He made more unsolicited money than any candidate has ever made. And he went up in the polls. So yeah, keep on it. Indict him for something else too. Might as well.
I know, you guys, once again, they're throwing cans of spinach at Popeye. That's all that is. All right, and this last one you guys are gonna love. I love this one. This is the Fresh Prince of DC. I saw this video and I'm like, okay, we got to include this one. This one's got to be in the show. So here it is.
Well, I was born and raised in Scranton, PA. Lifeguard by the pool's where I spent my days. Till a dude named Corn Pop, who wasn't that cool, started making trouble at the swimming pool. So I took a chain, wrapped it around my legs. They're hairier than my other legs. Not my black kids would touch them. Come on, man. Then I got on a train and moved to D.C. Barack Obama gave a job to me. I shuffled around and sucked fingertips. Made a big speech, kissed a boy on the lips. What are you looking at? I wrote the damn bill. I hold the ladies tight and sniff all their hairs. First person American to fall up the stairs. Ran for president, I was a winner. Winner was me. Now I sit at my desk as a president. You know the thing. Come on, get your face out of your ears.
One thing I know about Biden, Craig, is his butt's been wiped.
His butt's been wiped. His butt has been wiped because he told us it has.
That's right. My butt's been wiped.
Thank you for sharing.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, Mike, it's about that time. How about a quick shout out to our sponsors?
Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. Now you can get rifle and pistol caliber barrel any length you want for your next AR build. Just look them up at hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fight a good fight behind enemy lines. You can take part in California's future today. And if you want some awesome field gear, get on over to uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Those are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Check them out. You can find the links to their websites in the description to this program. Real quick, we have a couple of folks over at Ops Lens who chimed in. We have Maria Walden said, I will stand with him always. So she's always going to stand with the president. And then we've got Carol and David Sloan are saying Trump 2024. So thank you, folks, for tuning in. Please remember to tell your friends. Very much appreciate that. Anyway, that's going to be it for us today. We will be back tomorrow on Thirsty Thursday. So y'all have a good time, have a good evening, and we will be back mañana.